I am a thief, straight up a thief on this one. My buddy Craig from CLP Bushcraft did a video some time ago for this channel on what's in his EDC pack. And I am straight up, I'm just telling you right now, I'm stealing his idea. And I'm going to do the same thing with my gear setup. So let's talk about it. There's three big things I want to talk about here. The first is that everybody is different. Everybody has a different family size. They live in a different geography. They have different terrain. They have different needs inside their family. So everybody's EDC kit has to be different. It just has to be. That's why I like seeing what Craig did. Isn't Craig a, cool name versus what somebody else did? And I hope you get the same out of me doing what I do. I live in Kentucky. My children are grown, out of the house. I teach a lot of courses, both for the federal and state government, as well as, hundreds of civilians each year. So that's kind of where I am on what is in my EDC pack. Number two is that I want to go over how I organize the different pieces and parts of the kit. And number three, I'm going to go into great detail on everything that's in here and how I utilize it. So in general, what I carry is Heal People gear. And I have a Heal People gear search and rescue kit, although I don't do search and rescue. And I have the recon harness attached to the back of it. And then attached to that, I have a pocket that is attached and can come off rather easily. That's the first thing that I love about anybody's EDC kit, is that it should be modular. Meaning, if I'm doing a man tracking class for federal law enforcement, which I occasionally do, this might look one way. But if I'm teaching a survival class for civilians that are just wanting to learn how to be safe in the wilderness, it might look just a little bit different, but it's primarily the same. But modularity and having a kit that makes it easy for me to do that is the key to that. I organize everything in a priority of needs. So let's take a look at this first. On the bottom of my kit, I have a tourniquet holder. I'm a big fan of soft T tourniquets rather than cats. There's a lot of reasons for that I don't need to go into right now, but it makes it readily accessible. This also is sold by Heal People Gear. I've carried several different tourniquet holders, and quite honestly, it is GQ matching. It looks good, but more important than that is that it's easily accessible. You just pull this tab back and your tourniquet is readily available for you. Now, our next need, and what I mean by that is our needs are safety and first aid first. We got to take care of that. So that is the most pressing matter, is a large arterial bleed, and I can take care of that with some other things that I have available. Now, one of the next things that I want to have available that's easy to access is something that can give me the ability to navigate properly. So I have a Suunto MC2. And I keep it in this Tough Possum Gear pouch. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is that this quickly becomes a buzzsaw. If you don't know what a buzzsaw is, you can take something like this and swing it around, and it's a signaling tool. That's why I have orange paracord as well as orange case. And these are new from Tough Possum Gear, but they work really well for that apparatus. Secondly, I want to have illumination. I carry and have been very, very fond of the very inexpensive Energizer headlamps from basically your big box stores. I've had Petzl, I've had Black Diamond, and nothing has lasted as long or worked as well as these El Cheapo Black Diamond headlamps. They just work exceptionally well. Mind you, I don't get a lot of aggressive fights and stuff of that nature. I'm not in battle with this, but I do have something that'll relate to that in a minute as well. So that's good for illumination. On top of that, in this first pocket, I have some chem lights, and depending upon how your family group or team train, different colors mean different things. And so that's something that you should set up within your team, is that if you have these chem lights, in general, they bring attention to your position. You pop, if you're not familiar with these, they're just like glow sticks. You pop them and they last for several hours. But yellow means something in my team, red means something, and green means something. Not important to discuss that at this point. Some quick and dirty calories, meaning these are tasty. I love these little fig bars. A lot of people are eating these at classes. They've become incredibly popular. I love them. I'm a big fan of raspberry too. So I have one of those as a snack. That is what is in my front pocket. Now, let me say this, what's missing. If I'm going somewhere, then I will also have a map, a paper map of that area. And that paper map I cover in shipping tape so that it is waterproof. And I'll have that in this front pocket as well. Again, for very easy access, I can work it from my chest and everything works really well. Inside what I would call the main pocket are a lot of different things. First off, I have a knife that stays with the kit that when I get on site, this immediately comes out and goes on. So this is and when you're seeing this, you probably haven't seen this before. This is actually the Chamonix Companion. There's going to be 2 versions of this. There'll be a lot of information coming out. That's built by LT Wright Knives, but this is new. This is a prototype. It's worked exceptionally well. Naval Special Warfare were big fans of the Chamonix. They took them to a mission, and they felt like it was a little long, and they wanted something with a more defined grip. So they contacted me, and we came up with this and a bushcraft version too that doesn't have the mountain finish handles. But this is ABL mountain finish handle, basically a smaller version of the Chamonix that's done so well, also built by LT Wright Knives. So you'll be seeing more information about that soon. In Kydex, also built by LTWK with a, forget what these are called, but you'll probably know what these are called. Yeah, Blade Tech clip on. I like to carry this left side, typically because I have other tools that are elsewhere. But that stays in here. But when I get on site, it comes out and goes on my belt, so it's with me. Again, I teach everything basic from the law of threes. So you need 3 minutes blood flow and oxygen flow. Well, actually need 3 seconds of safety. That's why a tool goes on me, so I can use it as a self-defense tool. And then 3 minutes of that blood flow and oxygen flow. So that's why tourniquet's on the front and easily accessible. Then we start getting into 3 hours of maintaining our core body temp. So let's go into that. The first part I want to show is I'm a huge fan of a 55-gallon drum garbage bag that's clear. You poke a hole in the bottom of it, put it over your head. It's immediate shelter. You can put leaves in it or pine boughs or cedar boughs or something of that nature, and you've got a bedding that you can lay down on so you don't have to lay on the wet, cold ground. If it's warm outside and it's just wet, you can lay this down on the ground, lay on it so you don't lay on the ground. You can put this on a log, sit down so you don't get your butt wet. You can gather berries, you can gather firewood, you can gather equipment. Something happens to your pack and it falls apart, throw everything in here, throw it over your shoulder. You got an immediate carrying tool. 55-gallon drum garbage bag, I'm just telling you all, is one of the most useful pieces of survival equipment in the world, and I just really don't understand why more people don't carry them. Clear, because you can use it as a transpiration bag. Black garbage bags work okay. Clear garbage bag work much better, collect water off of green herbaceous material. And so again, clear garbage bag. So those of you that weren't impressed with my cheap headlamp and want to spend more money, then pick up a Sidewinder. These are made to be utilized on the side of a helmet. They have a headband that you can utilize them with as well. What you have here, if you've never seen this is an articulating head. This has a clip on it, so you can clip it on a hat, you can clip it on your uniform, you can clip it on a pack, you can clip it on nearly anything, and the head will articulate where you need it to be. It also has white light, red light, blue light, and an infrared light. So if you need to signal your position with somebody that's got NVGs, night vision goggles, then you can utilize that as well. Fantastic tool, uses a CR123 battery, lasts quite a long time. I literally lost this particular one. It actually fell out here at the cabin and I drove over it several times. Matter of fact, for several months, it was buried in the mud and I didn't see it. And I pulled it up out of the mud like a year later and it worked like a champ. So these things are fantastic little tools. I have a Tough Possum Gear pocket protector for this is a nice little tool. It has these clips. I don't really use them. I don't need them in here. I just put it in with Velcro. I keep a Right in the Rain pencil and a regular pencil here, and I usually have a pen in here. This is the pen I usually use to sign books and stuff like that because, you know, Craig Cottle, author, 8 books, Traditional Bushcraft, coming out soon, July 2024. Check it out. So that works really well. And then this scale is well beyond what your typical person needs in a EDC kit. I utilize this because I'm a tracker, man tracker, animal tracker, and I do a lot of tracking. So I measure and take photos of tracks. So this little tool, this scale, makes it really easy, but that's not really something your typical person would need. You just need to be a weirdo like me who likes to track. I have a woods mucking panel in here that stays attached inside my kit. Oftentimes, more than anything, if I've got my kit open and I'm looking at a map, I'll clip my light right here so it is attached right to this wood monkey panel. Actually, I've utilized to attach all kinds of different things to this little tiny panel. I use this more than any other panel that I have gotten from Woods Monkey. Now, this is a very interesting piece. I have another Hill People Gear pocket that is Velcroed into my kit. And this is jam-packed full of equipment that I would call escape and evasion equipment. The reason I set it up the way that I did is that if I need to move fast and I don't want a pack on, then I'll grab this and pull it out and go. Stick it in a pocket and literally go. And the rest of it, be damned. It's gone. Okay. Now, this has a lot of stuff in it. Let's talk about all the individual pieces here. I'm going to lay them out and so you can see them all. This duct tape. Duct tape is the bomb. You can utilize it to put anything together: shelters, shoes, packs, wounds, any number of different things. I have several of these Wazoo fire cards. These fire cards are the bomb. They have instructions on the back of them on how to use them. The big thing I would like to point out is don't breathe in the fumes from these if you get them. But you scrape these and you can start a fire with the tinder that you scrape off of it and then light the whole thing and get a fantastic fire started in the rain. These things are the bomb. I love them. I have 3 of them in my kit. I have a Exotac gear repair. I think they call it the rip spool. In this particular kit, you have some very strong fishing line, trap line, cordage to repair kits. You have a needle that is secured inside, and basically you turn that needle around, stick it inside there, and you can use that as an awl. On the outside, if you can't tell, this is duct tape. This is brand new, never been used. That's the way I keep most of my equipment. The stuff that I use, I have elsewhere. I know that this works because I use this stuff a lot, but not the one that is my go-to kit. So lots of duct tape right here again, just to have extra. Inside here, I have a Exotac ferrocerium rod. I actually love their cheapest version. Well, it's not their cheaper. They have a smaller version of this, but this one works extremely well. The scraper is embedded in the handle. I've never had this come unglued or any problems with it, and it works really well. And the reason I have it in this kit is because it's lightweight. I have this paracord holder. I got these from Tough Possum Gear. We also sell them, but you can get them from us or Tough Possum Gear. I have Titan Survivor cord on here. And Titan Survivor cord not only has your paracord pieces in it, it has a fire cord in it, it has some jute, it has a fishing line in it, and it has a brass wire in it as well. So you've got so many options with one little spool of cordage when you take Titan Survivor cord. The next piece is the Spark Survival and Fire Tool, designed by me, built by River's Edge Cutlery, and this small Kydex sheath, intended to be able to be worn as a neck knife. You can not have cordage on it, stick it in a pocket. I keep this one in the E&E kit so that I've also always got several tools here. Number one, I've got an edge tool in a chisel point, which makes good for building bow drill sets and just cutting anything in the world: duct tape, cordage, making fire tinder, any number of things. It has a bow drill divot. It also has a scraping edge on the end so that you can scrape a ferrocerium rod. One of the things that I like to impress upon people is the need to have a big handled scraper and a big handled fire or ferrocerium rod. Not saying that small micro ferro rods are stupid. I'm not saying that at all, but I've noticed when people's hands are cold and they need to have a fire, I want to have big handled tools in their hands. So that works really well for that. It also is heat treated such that you can use it as a flint and steel. So you can scrape this against flint and create sparks in that manner too. So fantastic tool here, designed by me, built by River's Edge Cutlery. Have this Exotac fire sleeve, which houses a Bic lighter, and inside the container you have this piece of paracord that also has fire cord in it, so I'm doubling up there. This particular Exotac is a collaboration between my friend Kevin Estella and Exotac, so you get that in OD Green, and it supports Kevin's nonprofit too. So nice little setup there to double up on taking care of the community as well. I'm a huge fan of Fast Fire. This, coupled with the Wazoo, is some fire tinder that you can utilize to start a fire in the rain. It works exceptionally well. I have some extra cordage that was just loose, and available, so I always just keep extra in there. I also have water tablets for water purification, not filtration. So I like these P&G purifier of water. These are basically granulated substance that you put in a bag, and I'll show you how I have the bag here in just a second. Several of those inside here. And last but not least, I wrote an article for Field and Stream on building an Altoids tin can survival kit, and basically I then put it in my kit and I carry it. So there's a lot of stuff here. First off, you have the tiny survival guide that has a lot of instructions on different things. I prefer to use this for people as a training method. Pull it out, find something you don't know how to do, learn how to do it. It folds up small. You can also use this as a reference tool in a survival situation if you're not comfortable. Just be clear, you should know how to take care of yourself in a survival situation, not be reading a book or a guide in the midst of it. But if you need it, here it is. It folds up kindly, small, fits in a wallet, fits in a glove box, fits in an Altoids tin can or on the bottom. Inside this can, I have several different things. Those are tablets. These are fire starting cotton. I have a button light. I have a whistle. Your voice does not carry as far or as loud as a whistle does. So, and you maintain more energy when you use a whistle than you do when you yell. So a whistle is a really cool tool. I have some extra fishing line, and I have a bonus ferroceram rod. This is a micro rod again. I've already spoken about that. Also in here, we have a small piece of foil that you can use to boil water in, any number of things, cook food in if you had to. I have a real small Leatherman micro tool. This is a really good grab and go, duct tape, and here's my bag. So these are the type of bags that you can, I don't want to unfold it because it's folded up nicely, but these take up very little space. You can take water that is suspect, put your tablets in there. If you have a filter, pre-filter before you ever put it in the bag, and then you have water that you can drink safely. It also has a button compass. Not a big fan of button compasses. They're more of a carnival item than anything else. Every time I get one, they end up getting sprung and not being accurate most of the time, but it is there. Think about it this way. The way I look at it is that even if it's off, if I want to go in a straight line, I'll go in the straight line that it's telling me that I need to go on. I'll use natural navigation, where the sun is, where the prevailing winds are, weather patterns, how many leaves are on the ground, if they're on this side of the tree or that side of the tree, how plants grow, different sides of the puddle, which ones dry first, to tell me direction in the part of the world that I need. If you don't understand all that, pick up my kids' book, Secret Signs of Nature. But that compass will be able to serve that purpose. I think of it this way. If I have to ditch all of this and only take one thing, I take the Altoids tin can, because it's got most everything that I need to survive in and get things going. Okay. So again, basically my thought is I've got a big pack, but if I have to ditch, I go small to the E&E kit. If I need to go smaller, then I go to just the Altoids tin can. So that's kind of my mindset on my organization. In the third pocket here, I typically carry a gun in here, sidearm. And if I'm not carrying it in a sheath, or a holster, then I will have this trigger guard on it. The thing I like about this trigger guard is that I just have it carabinered in here, and I can take this out and put it in other kits. So that all works really well for that purpose. That's an extra lighter and wax canvas from Kentucky Handcrafted. Has more fire supplies in it. One of the things I like about this that I want to point out is that cord right there is bright orange, and it's purposely different, so that if I need to look down and know which pocket has the firearm in it, then I just go to this one and everything is there. Now let's go to the back. Inside this back pocket, which I would have to take this whole apparatus off or have a partner get it out for me. And that's one of the reasons I have it on the back, so a partner can get to it readily. But I have in a Magpul DACA pouch that's bright orange to help me find it. Has some first aid supplies in it. I have an Israeli bandage. And if you don't know what this is, you need to get in a class called Stop the Bleed. Get into Stop the Bleed. TCCC, if you ever have access to that, get into TCCC. If you don't know what those are, look them up. So I also have some chest seals. I have some just regular gauze. I have some hemostatic gauze. And these things I've started to take and use. These are probably different use. But I also have these small towels that expand, and you can turn these into water carrying devices. You can soak up wounds. You can soak up water and wring it into your mouth. These are fantastic because they take up little space. They're once they pop though, they're done. And then because I have a family member with type 1 diabetes, I have glucose shots as part of my kit that always goes with me everywhere. I always have these with me to help somebody with a low blood sugar. I also have the designed by me, built by LT Wright knives, large Chamonix. This is my go-to knife for big task. Dude, I just can't tell you how much I've used this knife. I've gutted deer, filleted fish. I've done it all with this knife, all the bushcraft survival stuff. I do keep it there, which is different. I like to have a knife on me, and there are times where I wear that big knife. But now that we have the newer knife designed, we'll probably be carrying the smaller one instead. But I have a collapsible bag that can carry water. My thought in this is that this carries dirty water. So I have it in my mind right now that this has dirty water in it. I also have one of our water bottles and a nesting cup, also sold by us, although I don't think we have any in stock. One of the things I like about having water bottles of this nature is that you can literally put water under pressure. And it's not to squirt on your buddies, it's to clean out wounds. This, in my mind, always has nothing other than clean water in it. And so I will never put dirty water in the water bottle. That way I can drink it, I can use it to clean wounds, and it works really well for that. So my 2-tier system here is cup to gather water, boil it, use filter and purification tablets, and then transfer that to a water bottle that has only clean water in it. It sounds like maybe I'm going in too in depth, but under stress of survival, real, true survival situations, you want to have it in your mind now. And you'll hear me say that. You need to have this in your mind. This is for dirty water. This is for clean water. It'll make a big difference for you. In this Tough Possum Gear pouch, I have basically the Sawyer Mini system, the squeeze system. This is a filtration system that'll get most protozoan and bacterial contamination in water sources, but not all. It does nothing against viral contamination in water sources, nor does any filter do that. So you have to have some sort of chemical added to help take care of viral contamination and situations of that nature. But it fits nicely in there. I just now recently started putting that in there so it stays together. This is a Wilderness Innovations poncho / hammock / shelter / litter / whatever you want to do with it. Think of a military style poncho, slightly larger than that. We do so much with ponchos in our survival training and my actual usage. You can put it on and use it as a poncho to get out of the rain. You can set up as a shelter. We actually carry, from a first aid perspective, people in them as litters. Most ponchos and tarps won't do that. You have to have really strong ripstop nylon, and you have to have fantastic sewing, which Wilderness Innovations, they're expensive, but they're worth it. And then in this last tool row from Hill People Gear, I also have basically expanded supplies. So this is another kit. I want redundancy on my water filtration. Remember, there are times where I will grab items and go and dump the rest. So this has some more fire starting material in it, as well as some electrolytes. It has a candle from Exotac so that I can light this if I can get it lit with a lighter or something of that nature, and then start fires with it. And then another filtration. I double up on redundancy is key on some things. I've been in so many situations, both in training and in real life, where water filters have failed badly. I mean, brand new ones. So I have redundancy when it comes to water filtration as well as purification. And those two things are different. If you don't know the difference, you're training with the wrong people. Train with Nature Reliance School. So let's talk about the carrying system here too, because this is important. And this will be the last thing we discuss. I hope this has been educational for you. So basically what you have here is, again, I've called it a chest kit because that's what it is. 2 straps on top. This is a recon harness. Pull these. Now, everything is tight to my body. From my perspective, I need to have a kit I can fight in. That's just my perspective. I do things where, or I train people that do things where they go in the woods, they grab bad guys and they have to pull them out. So they might have to fight in their kit. So I like to train people, and I like to go out and work the way I train people. So I can fight with this. The beautiful aspect of this is if I want to put a water bladder inside that pocket in the back, I can do that. But this balances out so there's not too much weight in the back, not too much weight in the front, not too much weight at all. This is somewhere around 18.5 to 19 pounds. I'll change a few little things, like I'll add an insulating layer when it's cold. In the summertime, I take it off. And last but not least, I've got 2 other things I didn't show you. I need to show you because this is important about survival mindset. I used to have a name tag for my son, but he gave me a really nice gift, and I took that name tag off and put it in that shadow box that he gave me. This patch, the red NRS logo, is only the instructors at Nature Reliance School wear the red logo. It represents the Nature Reliance School cadre. I represent them basically as the director, leader of Nature Reliance School. So I always have this in front of me to remind me who it is and what it is that I am. It's not just me. It's a larger organization. It's a larger group of people. I try not to do anything that causes embarrassment or problems for that group of people. And last not least, when my daughter was really young, she made me this. And this is one of those things that will help survival mindset. If you need a reason to stay alive, you need a reason to get out of that. I have that name badge that I need to get another one of for my son. I have that little thing that my daughter made. I have no idea what it is. I just know she made it with her tiny little hands. So it means a lot to me to give me a reason to stay alive. As always, hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, put them down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. Come on, join in. Let's learn together.